I should probably indulge myself in animes that are not the best ever, because anime that are just flawless have nothing much to say, and it gets really boring when talking about it. Konosuba is an anime that makes me want to talk about it, because there are certainly tons of things to talk about, so let's talk about them. But first, the story. The story is about Kazuma, a shut-in who plays lots of RPG games. He got into an accident after saving a girl from being hit, and the accident has brought him a chance to resurrect himself into another world where he can start anew. The world is pretty much like a video game of some sort, and he has a quest to defeat the Demon King. Can Kazuma build himself anew, train himself to be a better warrior, and find new allies worthy enough to defeat the Demon Lord? Sounds like a serious story, but in every single part of that description prior, the story managed to twist and turn its way into new directions, and since this is a comedy, obviously the twists and turns are going to be into a more comedic route. The anime impressively went on the effort to both humanize and weaken the odds of the main characters just for the sake of making funny stories out of it. There are times in which the main characters sure have good enough plans to take down monsters, but unfortunately, they screw up something and hilarity ensues. This show takes that taking you into another world concept and twists it into a more comedic route. The question is whether or not the show did a great job at being entertaining. And, well, it is entertaining, but there's a reason why I make this video. Now I want to talk about the characters, and honestly, it's one of the best strengths that Konosuba has to offer. The main character Kazuma is one hell of a massive dick. He's a prick who comes and goes to out for his own will, and has almost little to no sympathy towards his teammates or anyone else in the world. Okay, maybe some, because he's human after all, but he's not the kind of person who is afraid of using his teammates as cannon fodder. He's very ambiguous and unpredictable, and that's why I love him. That makes him even more of an interesting character. He's able to become an audience surrogate, reacting to the weirdest of the weirdest, while still maintaining his own jackass personality that can sometimes be morally ambiguous. The most important part is that a lot of his actions are him trying to find easy solutions out of complex situations, just like how I would do things. Moving on to another character, Aqua is, well, unique. At its very core, she should have been the most insufferable, annoying bitch who whines at every fucking second to every single thing, and yet, I didn't mind her that much. In fact, I find her funny at times. No, seriously, I don't know how loved or hated she is among the fandom, but I personally really love Aqua. She's an annoying bitch, but something about the way she whines just made me chuckle instead of just annoyed. I think one of the main reasons why she's hilarious is, like Kazuma, she's also a massive bitch. She's also in this entire thing for herself. She's also selfish, and her whining and bitching are surprisingly not so unreasonable if you just take yourself on her perspective. 2 seasons in and she still makes me laugh. I think one of the ways in how the show is able to pull a typical annoying whiny bitch ass character like her off is the fact that she doesn't always get what she wants. She gets her ass kicked. She gets herself traumatized. The world really isn't in her favor, and that can be so funny and hilarious. I kind of feel bad for her sometimes. Not only that, she does contribute into the show quite a lot, especially in season 2, so yeah, I don't mind her. What about the other 2 characters? Let's start with Megumin, and honestly, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I don't have much to say about her. Well, okay. Well, let me try. She's a pyromaniac who loves explosions, can only cast 1 magic spell per day, has a great design, and that's it. There's literally nothing more beyond that, or at least nothing as far as the anime shows. The one thing that I don't like from her is that she's only convenient for the plot. There are a lot of times in which she's involved in the plot, but there's a little time in which she's the one moving the plot. A lot of the plot is moved by either Kazuma, Aqua, or whatever the latest quest they pick, or whatever kind of ruckus they cost. What I want from the show is to give her more. Give her a chance to make decisions for herself that can actually move the story, or decisions that can actually define her personality. It's actually a shame that the show didn't get to her as much as I wanted to, even though she's the most well-designed out of the rest, and the most noticeable out of them. The show did get more in-depth to her character thanks to her relationship and rivalry with another character, but that's almost literally it about her. She's a little shallow and gets little development, at least in the anime front. I just wish that there could be more to her. On the other hand, Darkness is actually quite interesting. She's a very harsh masochist who takes absolute pleasure on pain. Not only that, she also has her own backstory that adds layers into her and makes her less two-dimensional, especially in the second season where she is more than just being used as a literal hit sponge for everybody. There are times when she's also the one moving the plot and not just convenient when she's there. I do find her constantly taking pleasure over pain to be a bit annoying at times, but she's actually not as annoying as I expected her to be. Now I want to talk about the story and how the anime does it. Here's the thing about Konosuba. I watched the series just busting my ass off laughing in the first few episodes, then the show just digresses itself through story bits, introducing new concepts and characters and new parts of the world, but somehow it didn't have the same amount of punch that it had the first time, and I think I can explain why. One of the most impressive qualities of Konosuba is how incredibly unpredictable this entire show is. You might think that a story or a character would go this way, but Konosuba will always find a way to twist and turn your expectations. It's very self-aware on its own nature, and it has lots of fun taking a piss on itself. The unpredictability is great and all, however, there's a caveat. While it is one of the show's biggest strengths, it's also one of the show's biggest weaknesses. Konosuba relies on unpredictability, but the problem is with the frequency. Season 1 bends your expectations in one way or the other when it is needed. Season 2 bends it anytime it wants to. Thanks to its constant frequency of being unpredictable, the twists and turns of it becomes predictable, which is quite ironic if you ask me. Now, my issue with Season 1 is how rushed the second half felt. The stories in the second half felt like they summarized quite a lot of the plot in the light novels. The introduction of Wiz was done in the most insultingly rushed way, which is a shame because Wiz is a nice character and in some ways she contributes quite a lot to the plot, and the climax dragged on for quite a while, especially with the issue that the anime cannot decide when to end the series. Season 2 starts off strong, but even from the first episode, it gets noticeably dragged on. The twists and turns are there, but you kind of expect it from Konosuba, so it's not really that surprising anymore. Like I said before, they overdone it in pretty much the second season, leaving lots of the scenes and jokes felt flat. It has a little bit of a typical episodic format, but when it goes on some form of a story arc, it's dragging more than any other arcs from the first season. One of the core arcs of the story arc is the final arc, which is the Hot Bath City arc. That particular arc really felt like a filler. Thankfully, after getting through the incredibly padded arc, the climax was 10 times better than Season 1. It has a lot more energy and epicness, while Season 1 couldn't really decide where and when to end it. So after watching the 2 seasons of the show, what do I think? Well, I think Konosuba overall is just an alright show. It's nice to enjoy when it lasted, but it's nothing incredibly substantial. Is it hilarious and funny? Well, yes. Is it entertaining? Hell yes, definitely so. Does it have problems? Sure. Would I recommend this to your average guy? Oh, absolutely. Watch this anime sober because this anime is the equivalent of dosing yourself on crack. It's highly entertaining, incredibly energetic, very self-aware of its jokes, and its intense unpredictability might be something worth getting into. Go ahead and check this anime out. It's quite fun. What are you waiting for? So what do you guys think of this anime? I might do more of these reviews of some sort in the future. I really need to get a finished Nier Automata so that I can properly talk about that game in the future. I also want to do a review of Iron Fist later on. Before we end this video, we have a couple of shoutouts here. RomanDeSteve did a redesign on Merro. Well, Merro looks really cute. I love it. I really miss the days where I get more fan arts though. I don't know how can I get more fan arts when I was like in 10,000 subs, more so than I was in 20,000 subs. That's just bizarre. 1 month ago, there's this fan art of me, Haruhi Fujioka, the Indonesian flag, and a bunch of cocks and roosters. This is drawn by ItwasmeNeo. Thanks for the fan art. It's really cool. If you want to submit more fan arts, just post it on Imgur or DeviantArt and send me the link on Twitter. And of course, huge thanks to Ethan Daniel and Velfair for the pledges on Patreon. You guys are fantastic. That's all for the video today. If you like this, you can go ahead, click the like button, and subscribe for more. If you wish, you can support me on Patreon. And thanks for watching.